But for this morning, I have another zucchini recipe for you. I'm using up that fabulous vegetable that my dad so graciously gave me from his garden. So I used up the last one this morning in preparation for this. So zucchini does go a long way, and it can be a great addition to multiple recipes, as you have seen here over the last several days. For this morning, though, I am doing a recipe that I truly love, brownies. I definitely have a sweet tooth, and I definitely love chocolate, so I think this is going to be a great recipe. I'm very excited to taste them later today. So I will go over the recipe with you now. And again, this is a healthier version of the classic favorite brownie. Brownies were actually one of the very first things I learned to bake when I was a kid, around age 12. Was when I was able to start working in the kitchen independently and safely using the oven and such. And there is a brownie recipe. I still have it memorized to this day. It was my specialty growing up. So this is a great alternative on that. So what we're gonna need here again is a large mixing bowl for all the ingredients. Again, it's a one bowl show here, which I love because dishes are my nemesis. For this, you're also going to need some unsweetened applesauce, brown sugar. I'm using a coconut sugar, but you can use brown sugar. It does call for that in this recipe. It's the only ingredient that I am substituting. A little bit of baking powder and baking soda. I got ahead of myself because I was going to say cocoa, baking cocoa or cacao. A cup of shredded zucchini, and then some oat flour. You can use all-purpose flour. The recipe does call for oat flour. As you can see, I whipped it up this morning real quick. It took like 2 minutes tops. That was to get all the appliances and oats out and mix it up. So it was super quick. And then we're going to need 1 egg. I am making a half batch. I'm making a 9 by 9 inch dish. Remember, it's this size, the half a cake pan, because there's just we have a small family here, so we don't need that much. Even though it's a lower calorie, less sugar option, I still don't like to have that many sweets in the house because I cannot stop myself. So I would probably eat them all if I made a big pan. So this is my way of self-monitoring. But the recipe does make a 13 by 9 inch pan. So when I attach the recipe in the comments below, feel free to make the full pan. All right, so what we're going to do first here is we are going to mix together our zucchini, our sugar, applesauce, and eggs. So for this, the batch I'm making, it's 1 cup of shredded zucchini firmly pressed. So I did that this morning. This was from a small zucchini. So it made about a cup of shredded. Again, it was smaller. It was probably about 8 inches in length. So sometimes our zucchinis can grow tremendously large in our gardens, and we can get a lot of produce off it. So if you have that and you have a lot of zucchini, more than you need, it freezes very well and you can add it into other dishes for dinner. So put in your freezer. I have zucchini noodles in my freezer as we speak that I saved from the other day. So along with our zucchini, we're going to add our brown sugar, which is, let me look at our measurements for you. It's a half a cup of brown sugar. And then we're also going to add our 2/3 cup of applesauce, unsweetened applesauce. I measured out more than I needed, so Mickey the dog will be very excited that he gets a treat this morning. And then also we're going to add our egg and a little bit of vanilla into this at this point. And then we're going to stir it together before we add in our dry ingredients, which is going to be the cocoa, oat flour, and baking powder and baking soda. So it's 1 teaspoon of vanilla into the bowl, and then we're going to mix all this up. Make sure to get the egg mixed up really well and incorporate all the ingredients before moving on to the next step. This is going to bake in a 350-degree oven, and because it is going to be a pretty wet batter, we are going to be baking it longer. So make sure you have time to bake it because it is going to need to bake for 55 minutes. Now, again, I'm making the half batch, so I will be checking mine starting around 35 minutes. because it does not give the instructions if you're only making half the batch. So again, as I always tell you, keep an eye on your oven. We don't want to over bake things. Yesterday morning we had that cinnamon raisin zucchini bread, and it definitely cooked faster than, in my opinion, with my gas oven, faster than the recipe called for. So I was glad I was checking on it, or else I might have dried out my bread. All right, so now we're gonna add our cacao or baking cocoa, which is a half a cup. We're going to add our, oh, here it is, my oat flour, which we are going to be adding about a third of a cup of the oat flour as well. So I made more because I had intentions initially of making the full pan, and then I was gonna give some to Steph. I still will, Steph, don't worry, you're getting some of these. But then I realized my zucchini was a smaller one, so I cut it to half a pan, which was probably a much smarter decision in my situation here. Okay, so then it's gonna be a half teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of baking soda. And we're just gonna mix all that in. Very simple, easy recipe to follow, easy recipe to make. And again, these are just going to bake in the oven at 350 degrees for 55 minutes. So once you get it all mixed in, you are gonna transfer the batter into a greased 9 by 9 inch pan for the amount I made. Again, the full recipe is 9 by 13. And we'll get this in the oven. Also, folks, today, don't forget, up next at 10 is Steph with her, again, like I told you earlier, it's a surprise because I have no idea what she's doing at 10. I can't wait to find out. I forgot to tell you one thing. If you want to, at this point, you can add mix-ins to your brownies. I am choosing to add some walnuts, actually. I'm going to add about a half a cup of walnuts. You can add chocolate chips at this point, or whatever your favorite mix-in for your brownies could possibly be. You could do peanut butter, you could do butterscotch chips. The possibilities are endless. Be creative, have fun. And there we have it. Let's transfer this to our baking dish. Clear our area. All right. See if I can balance this for you all. There we go. And now we're just going to make sure you grease your pan, because this is a wetter batter than typical, so we do not want it to stick. So make sure you have greased your pan. You can use parchment paper as well if you would like. I just like to typically grease mine. I find it a little bit easier. Sometimes parchment paper can be tricky to work with in the square pans or the cake pans, trying to get it to fit in the corners properly. And I don't have the patience to cut it to fit. All right, folks, so I'm gonna shove these in the oven for about 55 minutes, probably a little less based on my pan size. And I hope you guys enjoyed the recipe. I will be back at 5 with another one. I'm all out of zucchini, folks, so I can guarantee it's not gonna be a zucchini recipe tonight. I hope you guys enjoy your day. Don't forget to stay tuned all day long to the VFI Fitness and Activity page for a lot of great information, resources, and fun. I'll see you back here in a little while. You guys have a great morning.